When the average person hears the word antifreeze, just the average person, they think about a solution that's used to regulate the temperature of their car engine. That's the average person. When, a mechanic or somebody more involved hears the word antifreeze, they think of the same thing, but they're more aware of the other components that are anti-corrosive or lubricant or whatever for your car's engine. When we, the sexy people, or even just the true crime community at large, hear the word antifreeze, we think about, you know. Not only do we think about but we think about the people who have knowed or attempted to their loved ones with antifreeze. Because when we hear antifreeze, we hear ethylene glycol. Ethylene glycol, which is the potentially deadly sugar alcohol compound found in antifreeze. Up until recently, this is not funny. I mean, antifreeze by nature has a sweet taste because of that sugar compound aforementioned. So most companies, manufacturers have started to add a bittering compound to it so that so that pets and children don't drink it. And also so that people don't try to kill their loved ones with it. So when we think about antifreeze, ethylene glycol, and you know what, we also think about the people who have tried to their loved ones with ethylene glycol, aka antifreeze. In January of 2001, a Forsyth County, Georgia firefighter died suddenly. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation ruled that the firefighter had died from ethylene glycol poisoning. At the time of his death, this firefighter was living with a 911 operator named Lynn Turner. In 1995, Lynn Turner's husband, a Cobb County, Georgia police officer, also had died unexpectedly. After the firefighter's death, the police officer's body was exhumed. Ultimately, the Cobb County medical examiner changed the cause of death from cardiac dysrhythmia to ethanol glycol poisoning. In November of 2002, Lynn Turner was charged with murder. Just last month, in October of 2025, a Connecticut woman, 33 years old, named Kristen Hogan, was accused of poisoning her estranged husband, his wine, and his iced tea with antifreeze during a nasty custody fight. We'll see what happens with that. Tori, with two eyes, Frederick, was found guilty in March this year, 2025, of poisoning her husband, Phil Fredericks, following an investigation into his death in September 2021. In December of 1993, Mark Jensen found the body of his wife, Julie Jensen, in their bed. I've briefly touched upon the Mark Jensen case because there is an unusual point of interest that played a surprisingly prominent role in his trial.
It should hardly come as a surprise that we're going to be talking about penises in this trial. The Court of Appeals decision, the word penis appeared 115 times in that decision. I'm pretty sure that set a new record. It was a very strange, bizarre preoccupation with penises.
Well, I think it's relevant, and I'm only going to say it once. I think there's so much penis evidence in this case.
When you looked at the images in D average, what were they?
Penises.
And also D large?
Same thing. Male genitalia.
And then D small?
Again, penises.
What about what was in favorites?
Penises.
Mark Jensen was found guilty of poisoning his wife Julie with ethanol glycol, antifreeze, twice because he was granted an appeal. 65-year-old Ray Gatomsky died in 2009 from ethanol glycol poisoning. After he was rushed to the hospital unresponsive and unconscious, Ray's family insisted that his death was murder. It's not funny. But Teresa Gatomsky, Mr. Gatomsky, God forbid these people should be named Jones. Teresa Gatomsky, Mr. Gatomsky's former, Teresa Gatomsky, Mr. Gatomsky's estranged wife, insisted that her husband had either taken his own life or poisoned himself in the final bold play to win her back by drinking something sweet. On Christmas Day in 2015, Jacqueline Patrick, a 55-year-old woman in the UK, served up a lethal cocktail to her husband, 70-year-old Douglas Patrick, with his supper. This was after a particularly bad row at the family home in Gypsy Hill, South London. Their daughter, Catherine, who was 21 at the time, had encouraged her mother to spike his drink. Mr. Patrick did not want to press charges, but both Miss Patrick and her daughter were charged with 15 years and 3 years, respectively. Now, Mrs. Douglas was charged in large part due to a note that she claimed her husband had left, stating that he did not want to be resuscitated, it's not funny, and that he wanted to die with dignity. Now, the problem that Mrs. Patrick has is that she misspelled the word dignity. She spelled dignity Dignaty. And as if that's already not enough of a red flag, kind of, I mean, maybe this still could have been Mr. Douglas making this spelling error, except it's an unusual spelling error. And when they asked Mrs. Douglas to spell the word dignity during her interrogation, guess how she spelled it? You're right. And you know who this brings us to. This brings us to Stacy Caster. Stacy Caster, who, I mean, these sirens are ridiculous tonight. It's a good thing that this channel is not supposed to be relaxing. Stacy Caster was found guilty in 2009 for the poisoning of her then husband in 2005. Stacy Caster was subsequently found guilty in the attempted murder of her daughter, her own daughter, Ashley Wallace, by spiking her drinks with pills in a 2007 attempt to set her up for the crime of you-know-whatting Michael Caster, her stepfather. Stacy left a forged self-deletion note with the teen, stating or taking responsibility for the death of her stepfather, Michael Caster. Unfortunately for Stacy Caster, she misspelled the word antifreeze 4 times. Apparently she thought it was spelled, or the word was, antifree. Ironic. Now, Stacy Caster had claimed that her dead husband, Michael Caster, had also self-deleted, drinking antifreeze mixed with, it was a cocktail mix, you know. She didn't know there was antifree involved in whatever it was that he was drinking, and she was talking about how she had made him some kind of drink, and she told the investigators during her interrogation, I poured the antifree, I mean cranberry juice. So that's like a double whammy as far as self-snitching goes. Stacy Caster was also suspected of killing her first husband, Michael Wallace, in 2000. She has since died in prison of cardiac arrest at the age of 48. Diane Stout. In June of 2016, Diane Stout was found guilty of first-degree you-know-what for the mysterious deaths of her husband, Mark, and of her oldest son, Sean, as well as the hospitalization of her daughter, Sarah, after an investigation uncovered that she had poisoned her husband, her eldest son, and her daughter, Sarah, with antifreeze, and that she had acted with the help of her middle daughter and favorite child, Rachel. Rachel took a plea in 2015 and was sentenced to life with parole, which is not a great plea, I don't think, but okay. And Diane Stout was given life without parole. We are going to delve a little deeper into these cases, particularly Stacy Caster and Diane Stout, because that's what you want, and I want what you want. Probably in a live where we can have a good time talking about bad things. It will be tomorrow. The next day, I will let you know. Thank you for watching. I will see you very soon. Bye.